I'm worried that I'm going to get everything I want and feel even more dead inside. I mean, I'm literally watching my heroes right in front of me become humans in my eyes. Flawed, selfish, shit, all the things that make humans humans. I don't know, I just thought they were different. And if none of them can be different, maybe I can't. Maybe the thing I've been chasing is a fool's dream. Welcome to the Joyage Kingdom. I'm Cade, I'll be replacing the voice inside your head for now, giving you a break from the constant internal monologue that is the human mind. I want to say first, thank you for listening or viewing on whatever platform you're on. If you haven't already, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom. Make sure you're following me on all my socials. All this stuff's down below in the description. Anyways, today, I mainly just want to talk about a couple things that I've been dealing with. I do these little podcasts with myself like once a month to kind of check in, see where I'm at. I need to be a little bit more organized with it and like have a list of things I want to talk about. But honestly, in the last couple weeks has been really difficult. As you know, anyone who deals with like any kind of mental illness shit, 2 weeks can feel like a fucking eternity, and then 2 weeks can also fly by. Like, I don't know, part of it's when you like deal with things, and you know, other times you throw things to the side, and so time speeds up or slows down depending on how you kind of choose to deal with some of the shit you're working through. So one of the things I want to talk about, which is funny because it's kind of like directly in relation to the NFT world and the metaverse and stuff, but one thing I was thinking about was like why I believe so strongly in the metaverse and why I'm trying so hard and why I'm spending my entire existence working on this and not caring about going out and meeting people, going out and building connections. Like every date I've been on in Seattle, within like 5 minutes, I self-sabotaged. I just had no interest in being there. I didn't want to be there anymore. I checked out entirely mentally, and I just wasn't there for it. But I guess one of the things I've been wrestling with recently is, as I've grown in the space and met people that I used to like look up to, or I hear a podcast or see a headline, or I learn about someone that I used to look up to as like hero, someone that I thought was untouchable, someone that couldn't make mistakes, that was always moral, made the right decision, and stuff like that. And as I get older, I'm 24 now, and I'm realizing that none of these heroes are what I thought. And it's sad because I grew up my whole life thinking that it was possible to achieve that, to achieve hero status, to be morally sound all the time, never make mistakes, just things like that, you know, like when you're a kid, you think your parents are like heroes or whatever, that kind of thing, if you know what I mean. And I think because of that, it's giving me a bit of an identity crisis, which I haven't had in a while. I would say it's been definitely a little while since I've had an identity crisis. I've just been on my shit, just doing my shit, you know, and nothing really has changed in that sense. I guess I've just been wrestling. I guess recently I just had more time to kind of meditate on myself and think about like who I'm becoming. Because you need to make sure, you need to check in, like with these monthly check-ins. That's why I do them, is because otherwise you'll go 5 years later, you'll be like, whoa, what just happened? And then maybe you don't like the way you went, and you're like, well, shit, why didn't I just check in? I would have picked this issue apart months ago or years ago even, and I wish I hadn't done this, or wish I hadn't done that, and I don't want to make that mistake. And so I'm really just wrestling with who I am, what I believe in, what is moral, what's immoral, what's good, what's bad, which one of it's real, like what of it is made up, like that kind of thing, and trying to figure out like where I sit here. And to bring it all back to the metaverse and why I think it's inevitable is because I know I'm not alone here. I know a lot of people feel this, where they don't feel accepted anywhere. Nowhere feels quite right. I thought moving to Washington would fix some of these issues, and it has fixed some of them. But I'm also realizing that no matter where I move, I'm sure some of you guys know if you've been following me, I was homeless living in a car for 6 months, and I lived in every single state basically, and none of them have felt like home, because it's not really what it's about. You know, I've woken up on the edge of a cliff looking over a beautiful fucking valley and felt empty inside, felt dead inside. And I've also woken up in a Walmart and felt the exact same thing. I've also felt joy waking up in a Walmart parking lot. I've also felt joy, waking up over a beautiful valley. So I know it's nothing about the physical world that you're in or the place you're in. It's about feeling accepted. And I'm realizing that radical acceptance is kind of what I'm chasing. That's sure that's part of the reason I was traveling, trying to figure out who I was. And I think that's why I know that the metaverse will take over everything. And I know some people aren't going to use it as much as some. And I know some people think it might not be a World Ready Player One kind of thing. And to them, I think that's fucking nuts. I think, how the fuck don't you think we're going to Ready Player One? Innovation innovates, is what it does. Where we can innovate, we will innovate. Where we can improve, we will improve, because that's what humans do. That's what we all do. It's like our Achilles heel / best thing ever. We change and fix things so they can get better, and so they make it easier. People run towards convenience. Whatever is easier, whatever makes them feel better, they're going to run towards that, you know? And it just makes sense. And like, if we're in a world where life makes you feel more important in this metaverse, people are going to stay there. I don't care. Like, right now, my hair, right, looks good on camera. In real life, it looks kind of like shit, I'd say. You know, like, if I'm outside, I'm putting my hair up because, like, I don't really like how it looks down. And I haven't got a haircut because it looks good on camera, because that matters more. Like, it literally matters 10 times more what people think of me online, on my Twitter or on my YouTube videos, than it does on the street or like at a job or something like that. You know, like, I don't care what I look like out there. It makes no difference. It's not the important part of my life. My important part of my life is the social media version of me, which is weird to think about. But it's also interesting because, like, I already chose the online world, right? Like, the people who obsess over trying to make it in e-com or social media or whatever you're trying to do, to those people, the online world is more important. You know, like, I care, the things I need to get done all involve posting videos. They don't involve anything else. They don't involve connecting with people outside. And I don't know if that's good or bad or sad or whatever. I just know that for me, I've never cared about the things that everyone else cares about. And it's part of the problem as to, and it's part of the reason that therapy is so hard and talking to people is so hard, because I just don't feel like they see things the way I do. And I've always kind of felt like, you know, nobody understands me. And I know everyone thinks that. But as I get older, I'm like, no, dude, hold on a second. Like, people really don't think like I think. There's like a darker side to me that's, when I say it out loud and when people, like, if I heard it from someone else, I would probably think it's serious or bad or they should probably seek help or something. But to me, it's normal, you know, and it's this feeling of dread, of feeling dead inside a little bit, you know. Somehow I don't care about anyone or anything, but at the same time I care about everyone and everything, and I don't really understand. I'm sure someone who's watching this probably gets what I'm saying, but like, I feel dead inside, but at the same time I feel so much passion and love and connection to my best friends, and I don't really get it, because at the same time I don't care about anything, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do here. All I know is I have this feeling of like impending doom type of deal, where it's like, no matter what I do, this will never work. And like, I've noticed it like in shows. Like, I'll be watching a show and I'll be thinking like, no way this happens. It's too perfect. There's no way it'll work out. And I noticed that, like, that's kind of how I view life a lot of times, you know? Like, I know it's possible. I know random things can happen. I know miracles can happen. I know I could swing the bat and hit a home run. I know it's possible. I don't know if I believe that I don't deserve it. I just don't think it's going to happen most of the time. I always just think that eventually I'll get what I deserve or something. But for now, I don't know. All I know is in this world, it's been incredibly hard for me to feel at home anywhere. Something feels off all the time. And in the Web3 world, with these new friends I made online, it's different. I feel exactly where I need to be. And I can't explain it, but I think because I believe in these digital communities, and because I think so many people in these Web3 communities feel that sense of belonging, for that reason, I think the metaverse is inevitable. And when these Discord communities turn into VR worlds where we really feel like we're conquering the world in this video game together, I see a lot of people going in, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think people can put labels on everything and say it's bad or say it's good or whatever. But for me, it's just so hard, because like, the lines are getting so blurred of like, what is good and what is bad and why. Like, I don't get who's making these rules, and they don't make any sense, and they only make sense to some people in certain parts of their life, you know, and I just don't understand. Like, my whole life is like, and like, my whole framework of how I viewed the world is falling apart and crumbling as I get older, because I feel like I was so naive growing up, believing all these people who were older than me had their shit together and were morally sound and always making the right decisions. And as I get older, they're all making the same fucking mistakes that I'm making, and they're all suffering consequences, and they're just human beings and they're not heroes. And I think it's just sad that I'm waking up to the reality that those heroes just don't exist, and none of these people I looked up to are who I hoped they were. And I think I'm just scared that I wanted to be that when I grew up, and I know it's not possible. I lost the belief that it's achievable. And that's crippling, because everything stemmed from that. Everything I worked for, the Joyage Kingdom, my brand, honesty, all these things all came from me thinking that that future was possible. And it's not. Life is full of consequences and mistakes and failures, and I'm not really sure what to make of that, I guess. Because in my head, I'm like, well, if I can't be perfectly perfect, then what's the point of trying to even be close to perfect? Why not just make all the mistakes? Why not just fully sell my soul over to the devil if there's no fucking rhyme or reason? If all the work I put in for honesty in the bull market didn't even pay off because the bear market came and 90% of my audience left anyway, then what was the point of doing that? You know, was it for myself? If it was for myself, then who the fuck, like, I just don't know where to go from here. I don't know which parts of my personality are real. I don't know which parts of my personality are fake that I create to navigate situations, to surf the waves, to gain leverage on something, to get power, to put myself in a position of advantage. You know, like, I don't know what parts of my personality are fake and which parts of my personality are real. And I don't really... Like, all these social media gurus popping up left and right, like, saying, oh, like, you were taught this your whole life, but it's really not that. It's actually this. And then you watch and you're like, wait, that's actually true. Like, that was wrong. Like, what my mom said wasn't actually true. Like, we have technology and proof now where it's like, oh, that wasn't true. That was their fucking trauma that they were dealing with projecting on you. And you're like, wait, so, like, what was real? Like, you know what I mean? And I don't really know what to think about it, because part of me is just like, fuck it. Like, who cares? It doesn't even matter. Just keep doing your shit. Like, the one thing I do know is that I am still going to continue and still gonna win, because I like the game of social media and growing. I like playing the game. It's still fun. But I've spoken to people, like, on podcasts too, who are way more wealthy than I am. They're still struggling with the same problems I have, when they can cover all their bills, they can pay for everything they need to pay, they don't have any loans, like, all these things, and they had their money problems all fixed, and they're still fucked up. And I just... Like, I'm finding it hard to find a North Star to aim for, you know? Like, I don't know what the aim is. Like, is the aim financial freedom? Because apparently not. Because a lot of people have financial freedom and are still miserable. And so I'm like, okay, well, if that's not going to fix it, then what is going to fix it? Like, oh, being present in the moment. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't pay the bills, you know? And I know the answer is always in between and gray areas and shit like that. I just, like, I need some kind of visual, because I'm a visual person. I have a visual thing, and I don't know what the visual dream at the end of the tunnel looks like. I don't know if it looks like me having lots of money and doing a bunch of surface level bullshit, if that's going to give me some peace of mind for a while, even though I know that's not going to be, like, true, you know, end all be all. I'm scared to have issues, you know, if I have kids or if I have a wife. Like, I'm scared to meet someone because I am aware of how broken I am on the inside, and I'm worried, like, what's the point of meeting someone if they're also gonna be broken? They're just gonna break me, and then we're gonna break together, and then I gotta restart and re-heal, and, like, you know, what if I have kids? And I'm just like, well, what the fuck, dude? I wish I had a better way to explain how I'm feeling. I'm sure there's something I've said has probably struck a chord with someone watching, and for that, I'm kind of happy, because whenever I watch podcasts and I hear them talking about things they're struggling with, they're kind of articulating it the same way I'm kind of articulating, which is wishy-washy at best. Crazy part is, like, you would never know that I'm feeling these ways, right? Like, I remember vividly this one time I was at the restaurant working, polishing silverware or something, and I was having, like, a full-on existential crisis, like, in my head, like a straight-up just chaos in my head. Everything's falling apart. I'm doomed. It's just, like, just terrible in the inside. Just doing myself, like, I was fine, but I was low-key dying at the same time, right? Like, I'm sure we've all done that, right? Like, you're, like, low-key dying on the inside, but then you're fine. And I'm sitting there having a meltdown in my head, and then Bobby, this other coworker, walks up and is like, yo, did you catch the game? And I just snap out of it. And it's like, yeah, man. And I'm like, what is that? What is that, dude? Like, what is that side of you that can just flip on and just pretend like nothing just happened, like, as if you didn't just go over every single decision you've ever made in your whole life, and then you're just like, oh, yeah, football. You know what I mean? Like, what is that? Is that really me? Is that some personality like created? Is it like what is it, you know? And like I said, I don't know what to chase. I don't know which version of me I like. I don't know which version of me is right. I don't know if I should go in these other directions when I know they're bad, but then it's like, is it bad? Like, I thought it was bad, but maybe it's not. Maybe I was just told it was bad. Maybe it's good. Maybe this is what it takes to get here. Maybe this is what it takes to get here. And I'm just scared that I'm chased the wrong thing, or, you know, turn to someone and then hate it, or what. But then, like, part of me, like, already hates it. So it's like, maybe you deserve it. And I don't know if I deserve it. Like, I see these things on videos where they're like, some people feel like they deserve to be punished. And when I ask myself that, I'm like, no, I don't think I deserve to be punished. Like, for what? But then I'm like, so why would I think that nothing's going to work out for me? Like, it must be because I don't think I deserve it deep down. But then it's like, but why? Why would I not? Why do I inherently think that? And I go back to these things that I worked through years ago, and I'm like, did I work through them? Did I push them aside? Is this right? Like, maybe I am on the right track. Maybe everything I'm thinking is exactly what I should be thinking. Or maybe it's not. And I just don't know. I assume this kind of thing is just self-doubt. Self-doubt coupled with time, you know? Like, we're in a bear market. Things are slow. Business is slow. Stories are slow. Like, nothing's really going on, you know? So I think it's just gives everyone more time to think, you know? Similar to the COVID situation, when everyone got stuck in their houses, they were like, fuck, wait a second. And we had this great awakening on TikTok. Everyone becomes spiritual and stuff because they're like, wait a second, what have I been doing? You know? And I'm an extreme person, as you guys know. I'm all in or not. And so, unfortunately, I am all in on figuring out this shit. And I don't know, like, I think part of me thinks that there's some answer that I'm going to arrive at if I think about it enough. If I just give it enough attention, mental strain about it, there will be a day where I wake up and say, that's it. I'm done. I've figured it out. I'm good. And I know that's not going to happen. I know for a fact that won't happen because I've done that before. I've had my big hurrah moment where I actually thought that I figured it out on the mountain. Some of you know that story, when I was at the top of the mountain and drugs were involved and all this other stuff. But I got a glimpse of what the world really was. And I thought for that moment that I was up there that I truly had figured it out. I thought I had actually figured out life. That I would just be able to kind of coast through the rest of it, and things would just fall into place. And they didn't. They wore off. By the time I got back to the car, I was kind of like realizing that moment was just a moment. I've heard things about like shadow work, like embracing your dark side and your shadow side and stuff like that. And some of it's helpful, but there's so much contradicting information. I don't know like who to believe or what to believe or at what point in their life they're saying this. Like, if you're a 40-year-old therapist, 40-year-old YouTuber, whatever, like, saying these things, is that just the answer you came to at this period, and it might change in 10 years because now you're at this different point in your life, and now you don't believe these things, now it's just a part of your journey? Like, can any of the things that they're saying help me? I don't know, and I'm wrestling between these two, like a devil and an angel thing, you know? I'm like, which one do I believe? Like, which one is real? Which one's right? Like, is there a right, or is it just my right, you know? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand it, and it's weird. It's like weird to see both in me. Physically see the struggle between two decisions and acting a certain way or not. And, you know, doing certain things that you wouldn't normally do to get something, or acting a certain way in a certain situation to get the advantage for leverage. And I'm like, okay, well, that can be looked at as bad or evil or whatever. Like, maybe that's not the kind of person I want to be. But then it's like, who is the kind of person I want to be? The people that I wanted to look up to are not these people. So, like, I don't have a visual. And it's like, okay, well, maybe yourself in 10 years. Pull a Matthew McConaughey. I want to be the best version of myself in 10 years. Okay, well, what does that look like? Well, fuck, I don't fucking know. Because all the people I model myself after aren't who they're like frauds, kind of, in my head. You know, I think that's where a little bit of the anger comes from. Like, I feel cheated. I feel lied to. I feel duped. I thought maybe, okay, so why am I not feeling like I want to prove them wrong? Why do I feel like I don't want to do everything perfectly right and all these things? And then part of me is like, well, you know, the right moral decision might not be the best business decision. It might be the moral decision to do this, but if you want to win at this, then it's going to take doing this. And then in my head, I'm like, okay, well, if all the people that I looked up to because they made the right business decision to be the top at whatever they were doing, maybe they chose the bad decision, the business decision over the moral decision. Because otherwise, if they had chosen the moral decision, I might not have known about them because they didn't go to the top. Maybe the moral decision doesn't get you to the top. And then it's like, okay, well, do I want to get to the top? It's like, well, I think so. I don't know. Like, I don't know anymore. But I know I have to figure it out. Like, I know I have to get to the top to know. I'm never going to know. I can't window shop and take anything from it. I have to go into the volcano myself and figure it out. I got to touch the lava to know if it's real, you know? And I mean, part of that scares me, and part of it's happy. Part of it is just confusing and scary. You also keep seeing on these social medias, like, people starting off evil, in a sense, in the public opinion, and then them getting love after, or people want to like people, right? Like, for example, Andrew Tate started off extremely fucking polarizing and has gotten more and more conservative as people try to get to know him. Like, okay, he's not these sound bites. He's got these other ideas too. Some of his shit is ridiculous, obviously, but he started off hot and cooled down after, and he was able to establish himself as an authority figure there. And I figured, well, if he did the opposite, if he come in more conservative and then became more belligerent, as it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have the same effect. Jake Paul, another example. Biggest dickhead in the world, apparently, for a few years. Then he's becoming more and more chill, more and more nice. I'm like, oh, so to win in the game of business, you have to be a fucking shark. And then after, you can soften your teeth or whatever the fuck, you know? And I think in my head, I just thought and hoped that I could do it the opposite way. I hoped I could be the nice guy and somehow win the game. I don't think that's how it works. I don't think fish win the game. I think sharks win the game. And if I want to win, I think I have to lean into my shark side. So I think that truth, or whatever you want to call it, I don't know if it's a truth, but that conclusion I think scares me. Because it truly feels like unknown territory. I don't know what I'm doing. And then, you know, in the middle of all the existentialism, you've got a meeting on a Tuesday, in the middle of all this stuff. So it interrupts your concentration. You're trying to figure out who you are as a person, and then it's like, boom, text message from so-and-so about such and such. Breaks your concentration again. Then you pick up a couple of days later because now you have some time to think about it. Then you get another video you got to make, or a fucking whatever. Something comes up and it interrupts you again. And I think that's the cycle we all get stuck in. Is we never end up doing anything because there's a new iPhone, there's a new show, there's a new movie, there's a new game, there's new this, there's new that. And it's like, it's kind of frustrating. And the wildest part is, in my head, I truly think that the problems I'm dealing with can be solved with money. The problem is, I know when the money problems are solved, new problems come up. And I know that. I just think that they're not going to be as bad. And I know that I'm going to be wrong. So it's a little bit disheartening knowing that all the things I wanted they don't work that way. That's not how the world actually works. And I feel upset at the fucking educational system. I just feel upset at my parents, my friends, like movies, TV shows, heroes, like everyone. I'm just like upset. I'm just like, what the fuck? I just feel so led on and so cheated, I guess. Like, it's such a weird word to use. I just feel so like cold toward them. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, when you hear about villain stories, villain origin stories, villain arcs. Like, I wonder if all the people who became the villain started off so good and then realized that that's not how the world works, and then started to go down this other path and became something else, and then they're bad. And then the other side of me says, but is that bad? Who says it's bad? The narrator in a movie that you watched? The law? Like, are all laws morally sound? No. Most of them are. But, like, you know, laws are there for, like, culture to make sure everything runs smooth, not because they're particularly right or wrong. Otherwise, alcohol would probably be illegal instead of weed or something, you know? There's just so many holes in all these things that I put my faith in growing up. And I think I'm just upset that none of them are as foolproof as I hoped. None of them, not a single one. And as I'm going through all this kind of struggle, I'm also dealing with my own self-discipline. So in my head, I'm like, oh, so maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I'm not as capable as I thought. Maybe I don't have what it takes to win. Maybe I just self-doubt in general. Doubting the system, doubting my life, doubting my reality, doubting my beliefs, doubting everything. I just feel doubt. I feel so much self-doubt. And then at the same time, I have so much self-confidence that I can do it. I just stick it out. I'm losing some self-confidence in the big picture part. I have no doubt that I can keep growing and build a business online. Like, that's not the problem. I know when the market's not in a recession, I'm fine. It's like big picture stuff that is crumbling. I'm worried that I'm going to get everything I want and feel even more dead inside. I mean, I'm literally watching my heroes right in front of me become humans in my eyes. Flawed, selfish, shit, all the things that make humans. I don't know, I just thought they were different. And if none of them can be different, maybe I can't. Maybe the thing I've been chasing is a fool's dream. Like, one of the things I keep struggling with is like the whole, this isn't you, or this is you, this is what you really are. I'm losing that stability because I don't know what is real. I don't know which part of my personality, like which side of my personality is like the real one, you know? Like, we have all these different faces you put on for different situations. Which one is the one you want to, like, is it the one you want to be? Is it the one that you know you really are deep down, except we don't know what that is, like, unless you think you are for a little bit, and then that could change, you know? Like, it's impacted by so many factors. Like, if your sister rolls up dead tomorrow, now a new personality side of you is going to come out. Is that the real one? Well, maybe it was, but now that your sister's dead, it's not. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, who is the real you? I don't know anymore. Like, those kind of beliefs, those kind of foundational structures are how you build everything. To have those crumble, it's really hard to build. You're building on wet sand. It's just sinking. It's like a boat with a hole in it. I think part of me is definitely looking for new role models because I've just like lost all the people that I used to look up to, right? So I'm like trying to find them, who they are, like what are the qualities I'm looking for that I think can help me. And people like Gary Vee, they preach being kind to people just to be kind, but then when you look in this world, it's not the people who are kind that win, you know, it's literally the sharks that win, and then the sharks tell people that it's not. Like, the people who are at the top, who have all this money and power and influence, all this stuff, they all preach the same thing. It's like, don't chase this. This isn't the answer. I'm like, okay, well, why are you the only person saying that? You know, I think my whole life I've been super nice. I get walked all over, blah, blah, blah. You know, and you see it in like every fucking TV show and every movie ever. The nice guy eventually gets fed up with the bullshit, makes a bad decision or whatever, then like learns a big lesson, you know, whatever. So yeah, in my head I'm like, all right, well, what am I? Who am I for real? Like, which side of me is real? Who do I want to be? Who am I really? Why have I been nice my whole life? Like, was it because I'm nice, or was it so I could get something out of it? Was it to be in a more favorable position to be in a certain social situation or some kind of setting, you know? And I don't know, because I don't know when I'm being nice, why I'm being nice, and what percentage of me being nice is to get something out of it, and what percentage is just because I feel like being nice, or because I just feel like they're cool, or they're kind, or they deserve it, or something. And I don't know. And you see a lot of these like younger people, you know, I'm sure part of it is like a little bit of frustration, insecurity, maybe, that I'm not, you know, multi-millionaire already, like these e-com guys, or I haven't, you know, maybe I should have dropped a project and sold out a $2 million NFT project. I could be fine right now, you know, all those what ifs and why. You know, I think maybe it's just frustration of time, like I said. Like, I think it's just frustration and time. I think maybe I grew up late because I'm holding on to these child beliefs and desires that I wanted. Like, dude, I was literally like 14, like 9th grade or something, when I figured out Santa wasn't real. I probably knew deep down, but I didn't want it to be true, so I kind of just hoped it was true and forgot, like, just kind of pushed it away and was like, yeah, he's real, I think. And I think it's because I just wanted to hold on. I was like, he was like my last mythological shot at something being cool, you know? Like, I always watched fantastical movies and sci-fi movies hoping some of that was real, like any of it. I'm like, why can't I levitate? Why can't I fly? Why can't I have superpowers? Like, why is everything so boring here? Like, why don't I have these things, you know? And I think that has kind of manifested into my adult life. You know, I see people that I aspire to be like and think that they're perfect and they never made a mistake and they never did the wrong thing, and they're good people. And I just don't know. I don't know if they're good people. I've met people who are very successful, similar my age, similar story to me, and when I find out kind of like how they came to be, I'm like, wait, that's super endearing, but kind of fucked up what you did to get what you got, and it sounds like you're kind of justifying it. And I'm like, wait, but is that okay? Like, is that bad? Maybe I just think it's bad because I don't have it. And I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I just think it's an interesting cycle, you know, and I think that's why the Joyage Kingdom and the brand and the story of the Joyager, the first Joyager, which would be me, because I came up with the Joyage, the journey of the first Joyager is one that learns to surf the waves, continues to figure out his life, continues to try to figure out his life, continues sharing and documenting the journey, sharing struggles, sharing good things, bad things, and trying his best not to be someone he's not. I'm trying to figure out who I actually am, and I think sometimes you go through waves of, this is taking forever, why can't I just have the answers today? And just want it to be over, you know? Just everything, just want it to stop for a second. I can't tell you how bad I wish I could just literally push the pause button on Earth for like a week and just be like, can everything just stop? Can everything just stop for like a moment? Like, just stop. I just need like a break, you know? Like, I'm sure we can all kind of feel that. But I think there's some anger, deep anger, like, because these heroes aren't who they were, and I'm upset. I'm mad at the world that it's not possible. I'm mad at the world that these heroes aren't who I hoped they were, kind of thing. And you know, I think I feel kind of led on to this idea of a fantasy world that isn't real, and I don't know, like, I think that is why I like watching movies like Twilight, like I talk about as like a joke, you know, the vampire thing, because I'm like, the lines are very blurred there. There's a lot of things that the good, and like all the shows, any dramatic show, like the good people do bad things and the bad people do good and bad things, and everyone does good and bad things, but one side's inherently good, one side's inherently bad, based on what? I don't know. And I think since those lines are becoming blurred, I'm like angry that I feel like I've been duped or something, or I've been taken advantage of, or I've been doing the wrong thing the whole time, and I'm just struggling with these things. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of venting here. That's what these podcasts are. So if you're listening to this and you have any kind of advice, or if there's a story that you think sharing it would help you out, give you some peace, and maybe open up my mind to something, I would genuinely love to read that. So, you know, if you're still watching this and you have something that you want to share, please share it for real. And you don't have to wait for me to post a video like this to share that. I have my own Discord for that. I have my own, social medias. On all my social medias, I'm there. I think talking about it helps. I think journaling about it helps. I've gotten a little bit of journaling done, and I've written it down, and I know for a fact that the answer to everything that you want is intentionality. It's just really hard to be intentional for a prolonged period of intentional time. Like, I don't know if you've tried, but intentional work works every time. Like, for a fact. Like, every time you need to wake up in the morning, if the night before you write down 9 a.m. wake up, I will wake up at 9 a.m. and you go to sleep, you're going to wake up. But if you don't make that commitment to intentionally write down and commit that you're going to wake up, you're probably not going to wake up. Like, literally, it's just not going to happen. And so I know that, like, when I write things down and say, okay, here's what I need to do. Let me get these things done. I get them done every time. But for some reason, I have this weird self-sabotage shit that I've heard apparently a lot of people do. And everyone does this thing. And I'm like, why are we doing this? Why are we... If I know that writing down a fucking 3-minute... takes me 3 minutes max to write down a quick to-do list and a quick little note about something. It takes 3 minutes. Why don't I do it every day? Why is it so hard for me to do things that I know are helpful? And I don't know why. The truth is, I've just been very frustrated. And I think part of it has to do with money. I'm frustrated because business is slower. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels on the fucking 10 business deals that I'm waiting on to go through. The business world is literally a game of hurry up and wait, it feels like. It's just everything takes forever. And I'm like, what the fuck? I just want to work. I just want to do stuff. And I know I could be taking time to go and do things for fun and go for walks and read and get sunshine. But that just isn't me. That doesn't recharge me. Sometimes it does. I need it sometimes. I need to recharge sometimes for real. But I don't get much out of quick little timeouts and recess. Recess doesn't help me. Recess stresses me out because it knows I'm just sitting here fooling myself and I think I have some free time. And every now and then you need recess because you really do need to reset. But taking too many recess, I think, is stupid. I'm like, if you got something to work for, then go work on it. And I feel happy and I feel productive and I feel satisfied when I'm working. And, if I go to sleep and I know I didn't record the video I was supposed to record, because if I recorded, I could edit in the morning, and I don't like to film in the morning because it's fucking morning and I don't want to film, I want to edit in the morning. And so if I don't film it at night, then I'm going to be frustrated in the morning. But then sometimes I still skip it. I'll still skip the morning and I'll just wait till the next day's nighttime to film it, but then I'll push it off or something. And yeah, it's just been a cycle of frustration, a cycle of failing at self-discipline, a cycle of failing to get motivation. I'm working on my self-discipline and I am beating myself up when I don't come through with it. And then I'll justify it for whatever reason. And I know most of it is just showing up. Most of it is just get it done. You'll see the progress in 3 months when you look back, kind of thing. And so most of the time I can get most of the things done because of that. I know if I just force myself to go to the gym and continue making that consistent walk to the gym and putting in the work, it'll help my mental health. I know going to the gym and moving and getting your body out there helps. I know it does. I just don't feel good doing it. I feel fucking like I'm in a trance or something, or I'm in some kind of out-of-body experience. And it's weird too because for the first time in my life, I have nostalgia. I've never, ever in my life felt nostalgia before. I don't look at my childhood with any happiness or nostalgia. There's nothing about my childhood that was happy. I just suffered. I was fine. My life was fine. It was great. But mentally, I suffered the whole time. None of it was good in my head. At least that's how I remember it. And now I have nostalgia for this past bull run and this past time when I was traveling. Not so much the traveling, but I have a little bit of nostalgia for the bull market because the money was booming. I was figuring it out. It was exciting. It was euphoric. It was great. It was my first time I felt like I was doing something for real. And then it all came to a halt with the recession. And I was like, shit, I should have taken better advantage when the times was good. And so I think in my head I'm frustrated because I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to put that into practice. I'm good to go. Let's fucking go. But we're in a recession. And so I'm just frustrated. I'm frustrated with my position here. I'm frustrated with the things I feel like I should have and could have done. And it sucks because I've never really ruminated on shit like that. It's just, you didn't do it, move on. Just get on with it, and I can do that most of the time. But with this bear market, there's, like I said, more time to sit around with your thoughts. And sometimes I can get a hold of them and relax and just chill and, meditate or something. And then sometimes I just have this I guess self-loathing is probably the closest you could come to it. It's just this struggle, this silent suffering, and look, I don't want my fucking parents or some adults to come at me and say, do you need help? I don't need fucking help. That's not what I need. I'm trying to explain it in a way. It's not that bad. I don't know how to say it in a way where it doesn't sound super morbid and terrible and I need therapy. I'm fine. I'm just struggling and I'm just suffering a little bit inside. And I don't think I need to go to the fucking hospital because I'm suffering a little bit. I can just figure it out, right? And I think Joe Rogan's the one who's talked about this before of the man who silently is suffering because he's just working so hard to pay his bills and take care of a family. He's not appreciated, so then he's upset and he's frustrated and all these things. And maybe it's baked into the DNA of a man to constantly do more and be more because that's how you have a better life or something biologically. Now we're in a different world. You know, we're in a world where that's not as necessary anymore to be that. You just need to do your thing and make money, and the other things just aren't as important. Some of the things that these big conservatives are talking about right now, it's like, be a man, you know, like take fighting classes, go to the gym, like, and then some people are saying, well, that's not necessary. We're not living in stone worlds and like caveman times anymore. We're in this other world. And I think we're going through a cultural identity shift. And so maybe that's part of the reason, you know. I'm sure you know that like when your reality changes, the reality of the world changes, because you're the one whose lens you're viewing the world through. So, you know, if you're upset, everything in the world is going to piss you off because you're upset. So the world's not changing, you're changing. It's your perspective and your view, your lens that's changing the world. So what is real, what isn't real, I don't know, you know. And a lot of times when I'm going through an identity crisis, I can look out and say, oh, the world's having an identity crisis. No wonder I'm having an identity crisis. Or I'm really upset about something. It's like, well, you look at the world's upset about something. Or when the times are good, everyone's happy, everyone's good, I'm happy, therefore, you know, whatever. And it's interesting. It's really interesting because, you know, you've heard that thing of like, wave, you're a wave in the ocean, you're the ocean, we are one. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And I don't know. I think I'm mainly just frustrated that I like can't get more answers. You know, it's like, when do I get answers? You know, and I think I'm watching TV shows where they keep putting off the final answer, so I keep watching, hoping for an answer, and then also simultaneously thinking that might happen in real life. You know, if I just keep going, if I just continue to next Friday, and then when I get to Friday, continue to next Friday, and then when I get to Friday, continue to next Friday, eventually one of these Fridays I'll get the answer. And I don't know if it will, you know, I don't know. And I'm not sure if I even got the answer, if it would be enough. Like right now, I'm trying to literally come up with a conclusion right now. I'm trying to come up with a concluding sentence or paragraph or something to end this podcast, because I'm hoping it'll lead to some nice little wrap up at the end. And I don't have one because I'm stuck in the middle of it. And I've been waiting to film this podcast with myself because I wanted to have figured something out to like report on, and I don't have anything. I just am sitting here complaining the whole time. And so I don't know. That's really the only thing that's really been happening. I've just been, you know, posting videos, getting better at sound bites, and then posting things, kind of hoping one of my business, like I'm waiting on, like I said, I'm waiting on a lot of these business deals. Like if any of them go through, I'm fucking money, you know, great. Let's go, you know, like we can get it to go. And I think I'm just waiting. I'm just like bored and frustrated and like, come on, man. So yeah, you're seeing me right now, frustrated, sitting and waiting, and frustrated because of that. So that's really all, that's where I'm at right now mentally. So I don't know, maybe this helped you, maybe not. Maybe if you enjoyed it, I don't fucking know. If you did, you know what to do. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel, code a word if you made it to the end, because as you guys know, these kind of videos are the most important to me. And people who watch these videos, you get a glimpse into my brain, into like who I really am, you know. And if there's ever real FUD about me, you guys know I already have that canceled video coming out, because it doesn't matter what I get canceled for. There are people who know who I really am, and when the FUD breaks out inevitably and someone's trying to cancel me for something, you will know, at least I hope you will have some more context as to who I am, and know that, well, yeah, I don't know anymore, actually, after this whole charade about me not knowing what's right and wrong. Maybe not. I don't know. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel. I don't know. I guess code word is going to be, I don't know, because I don't know anything right now. So, yeah, if you want to see more right now, click one of these boxes on the other side of me. Until next time, continue on your Joyage. Continue to learn. And be grateful you're alive watching this video.